So I bought the Sultai precon from Tarkir Dragonstorm. The Sultai precon, if you don't know, does a lot of self-milling. The main commander is Koda Sipsig Champion, which is a Sultai commander, of course. Only costs 3 mana for a 3/3 that allows you to cast a creature spell from your graveyard as long as you exile 3 cards, so it's like escape, but only once each turn. And then whenever one or more creatures you control enter, if they entered from your graveyard or were cast from a graveyard, it gets Kodas gets 2+1/+1 counters. Now here's where I would make a few changes. First of all, the mana base. They play lands I would never play, like Golgari Rot Farm, bounce lands in general, and just the tapped lands that have no extra abilities, like Contaminated Aquifer. I'd replace them with like the Surveil lands, like Undercity Sewers, or the Shock lands, like Overgrown Tomb. There's also some creatures I'm not the biggest fan of, like Necropolis Fiend. It's a 9 mana card that's a 4/5, but it has Delve, so you get it to go and cost only 2 black mana. And it has flying, but it being 9 and you having to Delve just to get a 4/5 really isn't worth it to me. And while I know we're self-milling, Satyr Wayfinder, only going and putting that land to your hand, also isn't worthwhile, especially with how many landfall cards are in here. Speaking of cards I really don't like, Diviner of Mist, a 5 mana dragon that when it attacks, you mill 4 cards, and you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard with mana value 4 or less without paying its mana cost. There aren't enough instances of sorceries in the deck to make this worthwhile because it's primarily a creature deck. I want to go and add Labman because you are milling yourself and you can cast it from the graveyard, and you're very easy to deck yourself, especially when you have Disciple of Bolas and Lord of Extinction, that you could sacrifice Lord of Extinction to Disciple of Bolas. Fantastic. I'd also want to keep the mill, so cards like Mesmeric Orb, which if you also had Basalt Monolith, you could just completely mill your entire library out. And while there's a Living Death, I'd also like Rise of the Dark Realms to go and get all the creatures that have gone into all the libraries instead of just switching them. Also, how do you have a self-mill deck that is creature-focused without running Sir Conrad in it? Definitely a miss. Speaking of landfall, we do have cards like Hedron Crab in there that really benefit from playing additional lands on each of your turns, but we're not playing any ways to play additional lands other than like a Cultivate. So keeping with the creature theme, I really would like to add Azusa, Lost But Seeking, just to go and play those additional lands each turn. Otherwise, the deck is a ton of fun, just need those few tweaks to go and make it even better than it already is. What changes have you made to this precon?